ladies and gentlemen, episode 8, the Taikai, if I'm saying it right. And it's your boy Icon with a Netflix review. And it always comes back to a tournament. I knew it was going to come back to a tournament. But this is interesting because, and this actually surprised me because although he was Russian, when the committee, the representatives of the greatest fighting tournament on the world, when they showed up to Cobra Kai to talk about entering the tournament, despite having all those Asian people standing in the background, of course the committee was led by a white dude, but he was a Russian white dude. And I guess he was the liaison that speaks English. And they were trying to tell him that Cobra Kai, Terry Silver's like, Cobra Kai is the best, and we got all the latest technology and this, that, and the third, and blah blah blah. But the guy was like, look, he even told him, he said that the tournament that you guys who like the Taikai World Tournament, it's not known all across the globe. He said not a lot of people know about it. He said, but I got the connections and I got the resources that can bring your tournament to the height of, like global supremacy or whatever the case may be. But then that's when the guy told him, he was like, listen, it's not really about that. He said that it would be nice to be on that platform and to be on that world stage as far as like advertisements and blah, blah, blah. He said, but that's not why we choose how people get into our tournament. He said it's really based on the skills of the fighters and the talent, because it's like, what's the point of having our karate tournament on a worldwide broadcast when everybody fights like shit? So he said that we actually want to bring in, like the best fighters. And then he was like, well, we have the best fighters at Cobra Kai. And then LaRusso was like, not so fast. And then like the LaRusso camp, Johnny, Cho, even the wife was there. They were all there, and they basically said that this isn't the only dojo in the valley. Now, the argument that they made, and then they were just like, oh, there are 2 dojos in the valley. And then that's when Johnny was like, yes, and we have the last 2 all valley male champions in our dojo. And that's when the guy was like, oh, we were under the impression that Cobra Kai held all the titles. And then when you think about it, you're just like, well, shit. And like, although Robbie was a previous all valley champion, he's an all valley champion. He was an all valley. He was an all valley champion in Cobra Kai, but he was trained by Sensei Lawrence, who's now with LaRusso. And then when the Hawk, became an all valley champion, he was in Cobra Kai. He trained in Eagle Fang Karate, but he won the title being with LaRusso. I was like, wow, they do have the, besides the women, like they do have the gold. And then that's when they were just like, oh well. He's like, what we'll do is, the guy was like, we'll look at both of your dojos and decide who's worthy. Because at the time it wasn't like, oh, we'll let you both in. They had to pick one. So we go through this whole montage, and then that's when Tori, she went to go talk to Kreese, and then she was like, yeah, what should I do? And then Kreese was like, look, I can't get out of here, so you on your own, bitch. And then like, she got mad and she left. So the representatives, they went down to Miyagi-Do Eagle Fang, karate, and they saw like the teachings, they saw the rich history, they saw the methods of training, and then you go to Cobra Kai and you see like the state-of-the-art technology and the blood and the gore and the sweat and the tears. And then of course the representatives, they were just like, oh, we cannot decide who should go on to the world tournament. So this way, he's like, so what we're gonna do is, and they didn't put a tiebreaker into effect, which blew my mind. He was like, we'll just have 2 matches, one male match and one female match, and we'll make our decision based on those matches on which dojo should go forward. But I'm like, why would you not have a 3rd match just to have like a tiebreaker? But anyway, so and then it was on like Cobra Kai turf. So I'm just like, and then your boy Silver, he paid the ref again. Like, he ended up paying the referee again. So they're trying to decide who should represent the dojo. Obviously, they picked Tori because she's the women's champion. Obviously, they picked LaRusso because, one, that beef is still going strong because, again, all the kids made peace, and they're the only 2 kids left in the valley who haven't made peace with each other. But also, Sam's the only girl in Miyagi-Do, and the female who was in Eagle Fang, she now works for Cobra Kai. So Sam basically got the job by default, but, it's for storyline purposes. Anyway, because everybody wants to see the battle between her and Tori. So, and then for the men, surprisingly, because he's a main character, they went with Kenny, because Kenny has proved himself, and the way they do make it seem like Kenny's like the strongest male in the entire group. So he ends up going with Kenny, and then like the Russo and them, they had to choose the male representative, and then Robbie, Hawk, and Miguel, the 3 of them said, well, you don't have to talk about it, because the 3 of us talked about it, and we decided that Hawk should be the one to represent the dojo because he is the current All Valley champion. Miguel was like, yes, I am a former champion, but I disqualified myself because I ran to Mexico, and then Robbie was like, I lost him over them and everything. It was this whole big thing. They went through the whole history, but I mean, I said it does make sense to have Hawk be the representative because because he is the current male champion. But in storyline purposes, the reason why they chose Hawk because they don't want to put Miguel and Robbie in a situation where they have to lose, so somebody has to be sacrificed, and it's easier to sacrifice the Hawk. So Kenny was training, getting ready for the match. Silver came up to him and taught him a move where you hit somebody right in the chest between the ribs and it sucks the wind out of them. And then Kenny even said, he was like, well, why do I need this if I get a point for hitting him in the chest regardless? He was like, because if you hit him right and if you catch him square dead in the chest to the point where he can't breathe, you don't got to worry about him coming back again. So he was like trying to win the fight with one blow. So he's teaching him dirty tricks and little dirty tactics. So we're here. We're now on Cobra Kai territory because they have legal mats. And, like the tournament begins. For some reason, they always start with the men's match. And when they start with the men's match, Kenny came out like a bolt of fire. Like this kid, like when this kid gets older and taller, he's like, if he continues to do action based, like media stuff and like film stuff and TV stuff, like he's going to be something. So looking forward to watching his progression. So he, him and Hawk, they get into it, and then Kenny scores the first point, and then when the Hawk scored the second point, the referee said that they even said. The Russian guy did say they chose an impartial referee to ensure that both sides get a fair shot. And the guy was on the take anyway, so I'm like, how did Silver get a hold of him? But anyway, he was calling some bullshit because there was a moment where Hawk had kicked Kenny in the chest, but the ref said out of bounds, but the hit happened before he went out of bounds. And then, then after that, there was another hit that he got that the referee took away, said it wasn't a real hit. And then that's when Kenny did the move that Silver taught him, hit him in the chest, and then it knocked the wind out of him, and Hawk was down for the count. And it does make him look bad because he's like the current male All-Valley champion, but he didn't lose. He did lose, but the referee stopped the match because he did get the wind knocked out of him, and he said it was like forfeit. And that was bullshit too, because you could have at least waited to see if he was okay. He was just like, oh, he's down, forfeit, like automatic forfeit. And Tori noticed what was going on. Tori peeped it. She saw the eye contact between the referee and Silver, and then that's when Tori realized, like, wow, the son of a bitch did it again. Like, he's paid this referee too. So then they got she got upset. Then they got the Hawk off the floor, and then after that, it was time for the women's match where, like Miss LaRusso shows up, and then Sam shows up. She's ready to go. She's ready to fight. And then they're just like, oh, bring on the female champion. Tori shows up. Well, she didn't show up because before Tori showed up, they looked around, Tori was gone. And they were just like, she was like right here 2 seconds ago, and they couldn't figure out where Tori went because they're just like, she dipped. She basically pulled a Miguel, like in last season. And because of that, they needed a female fighter. So Lee ended up, Miss Kim, she ended up telling Lee, she was like, listen, if Tori doesn't have what it takes, saying to be the representative, she was like, it's up to you, because I guess she's considered the second best female fighter. So she was like, it's up to you now, saying to be a part of this, and it's up to you to take, to take the mantle and represent Cobra Kai. And then she was like, oh, but I can't do it. And she was like, you have the tools. And then she was like, yes, sensei. So she goes out there. So now, and I hate the fact that they're trying to turn this girl into the bad guy, but because I like her character. So they get out there, and then right out the gate, referee was calling some bullshit. He was taking points away from Sam. He was giving the other girl points that she didn't deserve. And then that's when Sam went to the coaches, and she was like, yo, I don't know what to do because this motherfucker cheating. And then that's when Daniel was just like, that's when Cho, he was just like, well, he said if referee is blind, he was like, you must make every hit count, to the point where you have to put yourself in a situation where the hits that you make, the points that you score, they're so obvious, there's no way the referee can cheat in front of all these people. And that's what Sam did. She had precise strikes, clear strikes, bright as day where everybody could see. And in the end, like she caught the final blow. She beat Lee, and Sam ended up being the winner for the women's side. So now it's tied 1-1. And that's when I was like, why was there not a tiebreaker match? So, and then, like Lee had apologized to Kim. And then she was like, why do you apologize? And she was like, because I failed. And then she was like, no, your leader failed you. And then she said, if Tori is not ready, she's like, then I must make you ready. And the girl's about to fall into this trap because the whole thing about her losing her mom was brought up for a reason. And because she lost her mom, and because there's a void in her life by not having a mother, Kim is now about to become the mother figure that Lee always wanted. and this isn't going to end well. Like, we're going to end up having like an evil Cobra Kai organization run by Kenny and Lee, and it's going to be bad. So like I said, but I hate the fact that they're trying to turn this girl into the bad guy, but here we are. And like I said, Tori disappeared, and then finally, you know, like the judges, they stood up and they were just like, oh, we observe both sides in both martial arts and both karate. And he was like, so going to the world tournament will be Cobra Kai, and then everybody was like, yay, and then he's like, but also Miyagi, Fang, Eagle, Karate Do, and then they started cheering because he was like, you know, you both, it's like basically you both won. It's one apiece, so it's like we might as well have both of you, because he said both dojos couldn't be more different from each other, which is why we think having both of them in the tournament will shake things up and make it more exciting. They ended up asking LaRusso and Lawrence, they were like, yo, what's the name of your dojo? And he was like, is it Miyagi Do or is it Eagle Fang? And both of them were just sitting there stuck on stupid, and they were just like, oh, we don't know what to call it. It's a blend of both styles and blah, blah, blah. And then the guy was like, we need a name. And he was like, oh, but we don't have a name yet. Why not just call the damn thing Miyagi Fang? I don't understand. I don't understand why this was why this is a hard decision. Like, first of all, like, Eagle Fang Karate hasn't even been around that long to even deserve lineage, but if both styles are coming together, it's Miyagi Fang Karate. That's it. Point blank, period. I don't know why that was such a hard decision to make. So they're gonna come up with something. They're gonna come up with a new name by the time the tournament comes around. But it's like, just call the damn thing Miyagi Fang. So, you know, so then after that, you know, then it was like the party was on. You know, Johnny said he was going out to dinner with, you know, with the wife and everything, and then like the Russo was gonna celebrate. So Robbie and Miguel, they ended up having a party, and all the kids all across the land were invited. It was one big party. It was one big mess. And it was a bunch of madness. And then here's the part that pissed me off. So Sam shows up at the party because there was a moment where Sam was at Miyagi-Do. She found the random necklace that Miguel dropped on the floor like 4 episodes ago. And why no one has found this thing or cleaned up the yard to find that thing is crazy to me. She finds the necklace. She immediately assumes it came from Miguel. And then she shows up with this nice dress and her hair all done, Ubers to the party. And her whole thing is she was going to go make amends with Miguel, and her and Miguel were going to be back together. So she goes into the party. When she goes into the party, she sees Miguel making out with the next chick. And she got upset, got teary-eyed, and ran away like Cinderella. And then Miguel saw her, and he was like, oh, Sam, oh, my God. And I'm like, bro, where are you going? Like, why are you, like... We need to understand this. I need to make this 100% perfectly clear. Miguel did nothing wrong. The decision for the two of them, for Miguel and Sam, to not be together was Sam's decision. Miguel wanted a relationship. Sam said no. Sam said we should be friends. Sam pushed him to the curb. She said she needed to be alone and focus and blah, blah, blah. This was Sam's idea. You cannot expect Miguel to sit and wait around for her to change her mind. Miguel was getting his shine on with somebody else on the couch, and now that she sees him with someone else, now she feels stupid for the dumb decision she made from the beginning, and I swear to God, Miguel better not apologize for that shit, because, bro, you did nothing wrong. It's like, you know, go on, get your shine on, brother. So, you know, then after that, like, you know, she runs out, and she's like, oh, I feel stupid now for breaking up with him. He's moved on. Yeah, pretty much. And then that's when Tori came out of nowhere, and then LaRusso was ready to fight her, and she was like, no, I'm not here to fight LaRusso. And she was like, why are you here? And then she was like, oh, because you really won the All Valley tournament. I'm a fraud. I'm a fake. And then the two of them stood, you know, and that's how the episode ended. And it makes perfect sense because, like I said before, they're the only two characters at this point who haven't made amends and who haven't teamed up. So it's going to be a situation where Tori's probably going to end up quitting Cobra Kai. There's now going to be a beef between Sam and Miguel, but we're going to have, you know, Robbie, Miguel, Sam, Tori. They're all going to be in Eagle Fang Miyagi-Do, and they're going to take on Cobra Kai, led by Kenny and by Lee, and it's going to be this whole big thing. We'll probably get some other characters in too, and we'll see how that goes in the next episode. And thank you for tuning in. I don't know why they did this. It's just like it's like I wanted the kids back, and then I got to remember, when you get the kids back, it comes with the teenage drama. Like, Miguel better not apologize for this shit, I swear to Christ. But share your questions, comments, and or concerns down below. Is Miguel in the right? Did Sam play herself? You know, like, what's going to happen with the All Valley tournament? Share your thoughts on this particular episode as we move forward. Check out my other videos on my YouTube channel because I have Stargirl on the channel. We are unfortunately still doing She-Hulk, and Titans should be around the corner, thank goodness, as we await, because Comic-Con is coming. New York Comic-Con is coming in about a week or so. So till next time, guys, for some more Eagle Fang Miyagi Karate fighting. We'll see what the new name is for next time. Until then,